I think people get tattooed because there's not a lot of real stuff left in the world. With tattooing, it's blood, it's pain, it's permanence. There's nothing else in the world like that.
Hey guys, welcome back. I am Kian Forreal, Horisumi. I'll be filming this little episode from my studio, Authentink. This is going to be the part 2 of the tebori talk. I did part 1 the other day from my farm, discussing the differences between tebori and machine for time, cost, healing, pain, all these things. Today I want to talk a little bit about the tools I use, a little bit about my process, and how I go about making what I make. Now listen, I'm pretty old school when it comes to stuff, so there's no secrets given away here. I'm not teaching you how to tattoo. I'm not telling you the ink I use or anything like that. I'm just going to show you a little bit about what I do and how I do it. So we'll start. So I use a sashibo, like every tebori artist, the tool that we use, the stick, whether it's a long stick, a short stick, whether it's made of wood, whether it's made of metal. It's called a sashibo. So the ones I use are like this, and they're made from bamboo. All right, now these ones are from Japan. I got from my friend Ken. Very hard to get. I treasure these. So I use these, and I also use a plastic version that I made myself using a 3D printer. It's a little bit different. It's got a bit of a thumb groove there, you can see. So I'll put my thumb in there and I'll use that. Now depending on what I'm doing, I'll use either one of these. The wooden ones have no flex at all, super hard. And the plastic ones have a little bit of flex in them, so sometimes the flex is useful. They're pretty much the exact same tool. And I was thinking, I use the hanebori style of tattooing, which you can see here. I'll do a little clip there, which is like a flicking motion. And that sort of, penetrates the ink in and up into the skin, right? But sometimes if I'm doing tight work or I'm doing lining, I'll use a little metal tool like this, which is the same sort of thing, made of stainless steel. And sometimes a shorter tool is good for doing some things versus a longer stick, which is maybe a little less precise. Now, different schools of tattooing and different schools of tebori use different lengths. Like if you look at some of the Horiyoshi guys, and Horiyoshi himself when he does tebori, very long stick, right? Very long, usually has a bit of a curve in it. Usually it's metal like this, right? And they just sit back and they're doing that, right? And that's cool. I've tried that. I can't do it. Doesn't work for me. Maybe it comes with years, decades and decades of experience. The Horitoshi school uses a much shorter stick, a little bit longer than that. And those guys are very precise, and they use a bit of a finer needle, and they do amazing work. I love the Horitoshi look. I've sort of opted for, like I said, going in the middle, going with that length, which is about 14 inches, and that works for me. A lot of guys ask about the sumi that I use. So the sumi stick is just it's hardened carbon that's pressed into a stick using animal glue to keep it all together, and it's got a beautiful sweet smell to it. Camphor they put in it because it's animal glue and soot. It would smell like really not good if it didn't have the camphor put in it. So when you're making sumi, when you're grinding it on the suzuri, right, a suzuri stone looks like that. You can see a photo of it here, a proper photo, right? So that's got nice little inlays in it of a dragon and stuff, right? So you grind on there like that, and it's with the water mixed with it, you get a really nice smell to it, and that's when you know you've got the real deal. So that combination is pretty much all I need to tattoo, apart from my tattoo needles, right? So the tattoo needles themselves come loose. Let's see if I can grab some here for you. All right. So that would be one needle, right? You can see that there, focused on that. All right, so I'll take that. I'll take a bunch of those and I'll solder those into a configuration, right? Now, I'm not going to tell you how many numbers or whatever, but let's say it's 3 stacks of various numbers in a various configuration, depending whether I'm doing color, doing black and gray, doing the shading, or doing outline. It will be a different configuration, a different tightness, a different stack, right? And usually you use something like this, like a needle jig, like that, to make the curve, right? So all those things together is pretty much all I need to tattoo without electricity. anywhere in the world. I use a gas-powered soldering iron, so I can be out in the woods on a beach somewhere in a temple, and I can solder little needles together using my gas-powered soldering iron. I probably have a needle already made, and then you might have seen some of the videos where I attach the needle to the stick using thread like that, and then a little bit of wax just to seal it and make it a bit harder, and we're good to go. And that's pretty much it for all. That's pretty much all my coloring and all my background shading. That's all I use. All right. Now with the sumi, you know, it's people ask, how do I get the different gradations? How do you go from light to dark? It's a mix of technique and dilution, right? So obviously the thicker, darker ink is going to look darker, and if you put a little bit of water in it, it's going to lighten it up. It's pretty standard shit. It's not a secret. So as far as that, that's the tools I use to get on with my day. And I do all my outlines are with machine. Don't need to go over that with you. Everyone knows what a tattoo machine looks like and how they work. And yeah, so if you have any questions, anything else you want to hear about, hit me up in the comments. And thanks for watching. Cheers.